afternoon. My name's Shaun Rye. I'm reporting on behalf of Ringwalk UK Media, and I'm joined by super featherweight operator Macauley Owen. Macauley, nice to see you, mate. How are you keeping?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. It's nice to meet you. Thanks for having me on. Cheers.
No problem, mate. Thanks ever so much for giving up your time. We really appreciate it.
Cheers.
So obviously some boxing fans may already be familiar with yourself following the recent announcement from Queensberry and Frank Warren. You're due to make your professional debut in October, I believe. How excited are you for the next step in your boxing journey?
Yeah, it's October the 9th. It's the debut. Yeah, very excited. It's a massive stage to be on. I'm just about coming to terms with it, really, the stage it's going to be on, because obviously it's quite a jump up from the amateurs boxing in little social clubs and town halls, to then boxing like I'm boxing a utility arena, the NIA. So it's a massive step up, but a step up that I'm well ready for. So we've prepped loads for it. So been prepping a very long time now, thanks to COVID. So
yeah,
we're in peak shape, it's looking forward to it.
I mean, as you said there, it is a big step up, but you've earned the right to make that big step. You've had a very decent amateur career, a very good amateur career, and a decent amount of fights. I think 70 odd fights you've had at amateur level, so that's obviously prepared you well. And are you 23, 24? Is it
24 now? Yeah, getting
24.
On.
So I mean, yeah. So I mean, a lot of young boxers choose to turn over quite early, don't they? And they have their head turned. And some of these young fighters that have got a decent following, I can understand that decision. But what was behind your thinking of making that step now? What was significant about turning over professionally at this point in your career?
Well, for me, it was one of them where I went to work when I was 18 till I was 19 with my dad, working away, researching roads. And that heavy labour, and I was trying to box alongside it at the same time, but grafting all day, coming back and then training in the evening, trying to wake up in the morning and run. I literally respect anybody that can do a full-time labouring job, and then box full-time alongside of it. Like, even in the amateurs, I didn't do things half-heartedly. Like, when I was training all the time, I give it my all. So to have that extra work, like physical activity, was draining. And I was really struggling to do it, to be honest. So so I decided to go off to university then and get a degree, obviously, to get something so I could do alongside the boxing. And just as it turned out, my boxing soon started accelerating while I was at uni. Training full time while I was there, none of the uni lifestyle or people you normally go through. And it paid off in dividends. 4 years later, I come out with a master's degree, undergrad degree in sports science, master's in sports nutrition. And in peak shape, looking to turn over pro then. I mean, 23, 24. It would have been 23 last year, but 24 now. Turning over, in my eyes, that was always the age that I was going to be looking to turn over. So I do feel like I'm a lot stronger than what I was before I went to university. That university's got me a degree. If injuries and that happen in boxing, don't you? So it's good to have something in line, if not. So obviously, yes, we're ready.
Of course, and from the outside looking in, I apologise in advance for using the cliche, but a lot of people use the term man strength, and you hear it a lot when you see fighters in the ring and stuff. And do you think that could be an advantage for you, sort of wait until you're 24, and do you believe you've got a bit more strength than some of these young pros that do turn over quite early?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm punching very, very hard now. Everybody I'm sparring says the same. Whether it's the man strength, obviously, I don't really look like a fully fledged 24-year-old, maybe not, but I'm definitely as strong as one. I've been working strength conditioning while I was at university the whole way through, all 4 years, and then once I've left there, I've now got somebody who did a master's degree in the sport and exercise in strength conditioning. I've been working very closely with them for the last just over a year now, all the way through COVID. So we've built that baseline strength. And now you can ask any Birmingham sparring man, I'm punching super hard, and so it's definitely paid off, that strength work.
Congratulations on that qualification, Macauley. I mean, it's testament to yourself. There's a lot of boxers, some boxers I've spoken to who don't have that academic prowess maybe, and they don't have that backup plan. Do you think it's something that is coming into the sport more and more, that young men are being more aware of the fact that they need a backup plan, and it's not just about the competitive element of the sport?
100%. I mean, it's the books, the British University Championships is the university championships for people to enter.
Yeah.
And you can see right from the first year when I was at university, the standard of boxing that was very, very poor, really. To the end of it, come a master's year when there was top elite amateur boxers left, right, and centre. Like, in both rings, you could turn and you could see another elite lad. So the amateur boxers are definitely looking more so towards the university as a route. I was never academic in school. I didn't really like school, to be honest. Passed through the grades just good enough to get into college, and then from college just got the grades good enough to get to university. So I was never an academic kid. I'm not a smart kid, like not academically smart as such, but just it's the same as boxing, mate. Like the hard work you have to put in pays off when it comes to the time when you do get graded on it. So.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll reap those rewards. And as I mentioned earlier, it is a big part of sport now, isn't it? Nutrition, and people are learning all the time. And I suppose there's probably a lot of professional boxers that would have someone within their team that would take care of that. Are you quite disciplined on yourself? Are you quite strict with yourself with regards to that part of the sport? I mean, maybe that's why Frank's taking you on. Maybe you can sort the whole stable out.
Well, if the money's good enough, mate, start me up, you know. To be fair, yeah. In the amateur days, that's really why I went to nutrition, to really learn, whether it's selfish work, to learn about it for myself, so I could implement it myself. I was fed up with doing this yo-yo dieting. I'd lose weight to just bounce back up, and then it's just a constant cycle. And everyone in boxing knows when you're cycling that weight, when you keep putting it on to have to crash it back off to put it on, it's draining. Like, you need to be focusing on your boxing. And especially myself, I found myself looking more so to boxing was more about making weight than actually boxing. So if I can give anything to the boxing community moving forward, I mean, I'm not massive on the practical nutrition side at the minute, but in the future, if there's anything I can give back to the boxers, especially those up and coming lads who seem to be doing this, it's when you do find a plateau and when you can control what you put in your mouth around your training, it makes boxing so much more enjoyable. I mean, yeah, it just makes it more enjoyable. You make more from it.
Yeah, it's a really valid point that you make, and as simple as you've made it sound, I think it's something that a lot of people maybe don't consider, that people spend a whole camp, as you quite rightly say, kind of sort their body out and get it conditioned. Whereas if you're living that clean life, you know, throughout, you can concentrate on the finer points and the technique. It's a really, really valid point. I just want to return a little bit to your amateur career that you mentioned, and you mentioned there that as you went through, or as a lot of boxers went through their amateur career, it got gradually better. I've read somewhere that you were a bit of a brawler in your early amateur days, and you've refined that somewhat. How would you describe your style as we sit here now?
Look, in the early days, I was very much a fighter. I was a kid who started boxing because I loved to fight. So just about sums up what I was like in the early stages. And then I guess, when you have a few fights behind you, you lose a few on the split decisions, because when you're fighting people, it's tough to get the decision. You know, it's whichever judge sees whichever one's landing the better shots when you're just standing in front of each other and trading. As soon as you start using your head, using your mind for boxing rather than just fighting on aggression, it does pay off. My style now, I'd definitely say I'm an attacking counter puncher. I do like to be aggressive with my work, but I'm not gonna, spoil myself. I like to get there in front of someone and stay there. I mean, if they're not going to punch, then I'm going to punch you. If you're going to punch, then I'm going to get a counter off. So it's the pressure. It's pressure fighting. It's the exciting way of fighting. It's what keeps me in there at the end of the day. It gives you that buzz. You know what I mean? Like that's when you know if you're going to love boxing or not, when you get in there and you want it. Do you know what I mean? Some people shy away from it, and maybe for them it's not quite for them, but for me, like, I love it. I love being stood in front of someone, but then taking the shots ain't so fun. So can you move your head? Can you feint? Can you take half a step back and get the counter in?
Yeah.
So it's the difference in boxing, and hopefully come October the 9th, I'll be able to show people what it's all about and how it's successful.
You mentioned there about that kind of style of having good head movement and being aggressive, yet a counter punch, but having a good defense. And someone who you might sort of think of in the past as a boxer who would have a similar style would be someone like Roberto Duran, who of course was involved in that famous no mask fight with Sugar Ray Leonard, which brings me neatly on to something I've seen regarding yourself and your trainer. What's this about the nickname, the moniker that you've been given by your trainer? Is it No Mass? Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we've not gone for it because I mean that there's another lad in the professional game who seems to have come out of it
Right.
surprisingly at the same time. But I mean, it suits my style down to a T. I'm gonna get on you. I'm gonna stick it on you thick, and like I'm gonna force the stoppage. It's just one of them. I'm going into the pro game to be an exciting fighter. I'm not gonna stand off anybody. I'm conditioning myself to be able to go as many rounds as it takes at the end of the day. If I take you out in the 12th, I still took you out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the style. It's the exciting stuff for people to see. It's the exciting style to box. I mean, a lot of the kids even the top level boxers will sit back and counter punch like in a sit back. But I tried it myself. It's just not fun. Like
Yeah.
I like to be digging the shots in as well. I like to be putting my weight behind the shots, and you can't do that when you stood on the back foot. So.
Good stuff. So your trainer, I believe it's going to be a continuation of your amateur coach. Is it Shiny Singh who's going to be coaching you? How important is that for you to have that sort of continuity and not have to learn how somebody else works and so on? I imagine it's going to be more seamless having a coach that you know their ways and their practices.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I went to university, I started with Shiny, so it's like 5 coming on 6 years now. And I say I wouldn't really look back from it. His style, I progressed, and as he progressed at the same time, you can see him developing as a coach as I was developing as a boxer. So it's been a good relationship to be part of, really. Yeah, so obviously we know each other in and out now. Like very close inside the boxing gym, outside as well. He's part of the family now.
Yeah.
So I do feel like it's putting me in the best stead to start out in the pros with him, see how far we can take it.
Yeah. And I would imagine, I mean, have you discussed a different approach between the amateur style and the pro style, or will it be just, sort of accentuating your qualities and just sort of taking it from there?
No, we've definitely built on what we were in the amateur game. Like I said, in the amateur game, I did very much stick to my boxing. I did press the fight because I knew 9 times out of 10 I was going to be fitter than the opponent. So, but that was always at the long range, catching people with the straight shots. Whereas now, we spent the last year, especially while in COVID, out of the lockdowns, working on digging in the shots. Just taking a bit more of a dip in the legs to really get the power shots off when it's needed. So we have definitely built on. We haven't changed everything, but we've definitely built on in it. So it's been many hours in the gym doing it. So I'm looking forward to showing people how I've progressed into the pro game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm interested to know what your thoughts are. I know that you signed alongside 1 or 2 others with Frank Warren. Another fighter who I believe will be operating in a similar weight class to yourself is Callum Thompson. Be interesting to sort of document how both your careers progress. Can you see a parallel development possibly? And have you ever come across Callum in the amateurs before? What do you know about him?
I mean, you always see his name in the AMs because he was on GB as well, wasn't he?
Yes.
He was just that next level in terms of like where he got himself already. But I definitely don't think I was far behind him at all. I would have been very confident in boxing him. He's a top kid, though. Don't get me wrong. He's worked very hard to get where he is, but I don't think I was very far behind him at all. And I would have been confident taking the fight back in the amateur days. He's lucky enough that he's already been out a couple of times now in the pro game, so he's got a little bit of an head start on myself. But we'll see where it takes, where it goes in this pro game. Not going to shy away from anybody. If he's in the super featherweight division, he's going to get it the same way as anybody else would,
Yeah, well, you talk a good game. You sound a very confident lad. What's your state of mind going to be? Will you have a few nerves on October the 9th, or is it more excitement? Ready to get in there?
Yeah, I'm going a little bit here and there, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not going to say I'm not nervous. It's my career now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just you're not doing it for the trophies anymore. You're doing it for everything. It's your career. You go like if you make it in boxing, yeah, it can make your life. So yeah, the nerves are there purely from the point where I'm putting pressure on myself to do as well as I can, as well as like, oh, I know I deserve to. I've literally given the vast majority of my life to boxing from the age of 13 onwards. So the pressure's more so on myself to do well and do justice to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, Macauley, you've given yourself a good start already, and the dedication that you've shown, from a young man getting qualifications as well. You've done everything the right way so far, which is massive credit to you, because people maybe won't understand, and there might be some fans of the sport who sit and see the ring walk and see you under the lights and think, that's all it is. But I imagine from a boxer, it's just a massive sacrifice. That's one of the words I hear so often: sacrifice and dedication. You have to sort of sit out of a lot of things, don't you? And again, sacrifice a lot within your life to keep, as you said earlier, that lifestyle. It must be quite difficult.
Yeah, you say sacrifice. It is. You sacrifice some things. Don't get me wrong, but it's the life you choose to live, isn't it? Like, I don't regret anything I've done in my life. And I've literally, it's paid off in dividends, my boxing for me, because obviously the likes of winning the CYPs, winning Haringey, winning 2 British University championships. I've boxed all over the place, abroad. So sacrificing a few extra nights out and that for I've travelled the world. I've won the golds. I've been on the big stages in the amateur game, and now I'm just about to step foot on the like one of the biggest stages in the professional game right from my debut. So in my eyes, I haven't really sacrificed anything, because it's paid off massively. A sacrifice feels like you're giving up something good for something else, but nothing compares to them wins. Nothing compares to those those experiences in themselves. So yeah.
I mean, you mentioned that Haringey Cup, and you of course won fighter of the tournament. Is it things like that sort of help sway your decision, and when you're at the top of your game and think, right, that I'm ready now to start plying my trade in the pro ranks?
100%. Like, I don't know if you can see that them gloves up there, and they're the gloves I won from Sting for winning that. So I like to keep them there just as a reminder that you can do it, because like you said before, I was a bit of a fighter in the early days in the AMSA, and I was a 50-50 lad after about 30 fights, I think. So just reminding myself that you can make it. Everything doesn't have to be in your favor from the start. Like, you can still make it, and those kind of things are what really do spur me on to make the most of the chance I've got now.
Yeah. If you allow yourself to sit and dream 3 or 4 years down the line, and you imagine maybe some of the elite fighters who are maybe quite young still in the super featherweight division, or maybe even the lightweight division, who do you dream about facing in super fights? Have you allowed your mind to go that far?
I mean, you look at that Gervonta Davis, don't you? Like, I wouldn't mind dishing out some smoke on him, Nah,
There's some
I'm
super
taking my
talents,
time with it,
aren't
to
they,
be
in those
honest.
divisions?
Yeah, incredible. When you see, there's levels to boxing, isn't there? So I know I'm at a massive advantage that in the professional game you do work your way up. Like, it's a career, and you have your amateur career, and then you have your professional career. Your professional career, you're starting from a clean slate as well. So obviously the minimum for me is the British title level, bare minimum. Like, I will not be happy if I don't achieve that. From then on, I'm going from a clean slate from there again. As soon as I got that, the next goals will be in place. But I'm not ruling out anything at the end of the day. Look at some of the boxers in history who've got won a world title. They don't have to be the best boxers in the world. I mean, I put myself as a very good boxer, but I know progress in the professional game is where it's at. Can you get the right run to where you need to be. Anyone's got a chance.
Well, Macauley, just listening myself, I'm already excited for October the 9th, and I'm sure when people watch this and fans watch this, they'll too be excited by the prospect of watching you and see how you progress in your career. All that remains, mate, is to wish you well in the future in your career, and we'll all be tuned in on October the 9th, mate, to see you do the business, hopefully.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks ever so much, and thanks again for your time, and we'll speak soon.
See you soon. Awesome. Thank you very
Take care.
much.
Thank you ever so much.
Cheers.
Bye now, mate.